As a father, you have to understand the dynamic of the relationship you create with your children. And that whatever you create with them not only affect them now, but affects them in the future. And so it's so important that you create a foundation, that you create an environment, a system that your kids can benefit from, right? Like any other thing. This specific relationship that you create with your children requires your undivided attention. There's no busy days, there's no I'm too tired, there's no I don't have it. You have to make it work. Your children need you. And so, as a father, that's your mission, that's your goal. There's a few characteristics of this particular avenue. It requires love, trust, respect, communication, and of course, support. We can honestly say there's people out there that has never received any of those things. And this is why we have a lot of people with trauma walking around and passing it on to the next person. As fathers, we're not trying to pass on traumas to our kids so they can pass on to their kids. We're trying to create healthy habits so they can change the world. At least that's my mission. I encourage fathers to incorporate something in their kids that is going to benefit them in the future. Don't show them your way, especially if your way didn't work. Don't treat them how your parents treat you, especially if you're dealing with a lot of traumas. Change the story. Their journey needs it. There's a few things a father can do to create a healthier relationship, habits in their children's lives. Remember, it starts today. One thing I recommend is healthy eating. This is something I do with my kids. I teach them how to eat healthy. My wife does the same. It starts now because they will take that to the grave. Teach them how to eat healthy now. They drink plenty of water. They don't drink juice. They eat vegetables. They just eat healthy stuff. Eat natural fruits. They don't have all the for their birthday they had candy and a cupcake. That's fine. You know, every other week maybe they'll have a slice of pizza. That's fine. We don't want to restrict them because they are children, but we want to expose them to the healthier side of things. More of that and less of the bad food. Another thing that I recommend, right, is loving them and accepting them. No matter what, love your children and accept them for who they are. The world has a way already of just judging people and just like telling them who they are and what they shouldn't be and pushing them away when they're not what the world want them to be. We don't want that in our home. We want our children to feel love and feel accepted. Right? Another thing is celebrating their wins and their failures, no matter how big or how small it is. It's so important that we start doing these things. I call this the self-esteem and self-confidence builder. We need to start building our children's self-esteem and self-confidence instead of destroying it, or instead of allowing the world to tell them what they should believe or should be, or we don't want that. So it starts in the home. Yeah? Next thing for sure, exercising. I enjoy this part. For example, this morning I was stretching, stretching. I typically stretch every Sunday morning, and my daughters came down and they started to stretch with me, and that melted my heart, man. I mean, like they're 3 years old, by the way, and they're able to do these things. So most like we should all start to do little things. You don't have to follow this specific structure, but little things we could do to change the course of our children's lives. Exposure is such an amazing thing. Whatever our parents did not do for us, whatever we went through, we can actually make it better for our children. We don't have to pass that trauma to our children. which require us seeking help from a professional ourselves if we're not okay. Because if we're not okay, we're going to be passing it on, right? Last thing for sure, I would say how you deal with stress around your kids. I mean, there's parents that yells and screams and curse and curse and curse. Your children are seeing this, and they're taking this, and they will use that when they one day encounter stress. That's the same reaction they'll have. And you're going to sit there like, oh, I don't know where they got it from. They got it from you. So how you deal with stress? You need to be very strategic with that. So I encourage praying. When it comes to stress, we pray, right? When it comes to stress, we meditate. When it comes to stress, we read. We have a moment of silence where we just relax with smooth type of music. Reflect. Instead of doing the yelling and screaming and cursing, we don't argue. Our kids are seeing this, and this is exactly what they're going to take with them. And so we want to be very intentional on everything that we do around our children. This is a message to all the fathers out there, whether you're single in a relationship or whatever.